Everybody, it's got to go. So true. Bye. Hello, everybody. Welcome
Hey,
to 7 Day Challenge. I am Christy Ogle, and also today, Mr. Chip McCarter. Hey, Chip, how are you?
I'm good to be here. Sorry about the difficulties getting with you guys yesterday. Had a little issue with my internet over here. Glad to be today.
We are so happy to have you because this is really his forte, marketing, because he owns McCarter Marketing and he's the co-founder of the 7 and 7 Challenge. Welcome, everybody. So yesterday we went over mindset. What kind of limiting beliefs do you have in your mind that you had to shift your thinking? That's one thing that's so important in marketing is you've got to shift your thinking. You have to realize that this is different than anything you've ever done before. So that is what we went over yesterday. Now, is there any kind of limiting beliefs that popped up that you didn't know about? Because it's so important. I know one of mine in the very beginning was you have to spend a ton of money to make money. That's why I spent over $250,000 one year in marketing. I did get 1.25 million in sales, but no profitability whatsoever.
Yeah, my biggest belief system that
You are cutting in and out, Chip. You're frozen.
give me a sec.
Another limiting belief that lots of handyman services have is I'm charging too much. If that's your thought, you probably need to charge quite a bit more. Are you back, Chip?
You tell me, is it working?
Yes. What's your
Okay.
limiting belief?
Well, so my biggest belief was that I just wasn't good enough and didn't have the education to be an entrepreneur. When I first got into this, I knew I was smart enough, but I still had this belief system that's almost instilled in you in high school and corporate America, pretty much is dead. But I still felt like since I didn't have a college degree, I didn't qualify to be an entrepreneur, which is completely insane. It's not at all a correct belief system. So it took me a while to get over that hump, to convince myself that I am an official business owner and I am an entrepreneur and I'm doing it. And ever since I got over that, weird belief, I've a bunch of doors open for me and it started really, really working for me.
Mike says his limiting belief is he didn't know himself or he doesn't trust himself to market his business. I was coaching a maid business earlier today and I was helping them create their first ad because they just put their first Facebook page up. They cleaned for me, but they didn't have a Facebook page. And I said, what are you guys doing? You need to build a massive following on Facebook. I said, that's what I teach. And they're like, well, we don't know how to do it. So last week I taught them to build the page. And this week we taught them how to build their first ad. Like I went in there and I showed them how to do it. And they're like, that took you like 3 minutes to build us an ad. And I was like, yeah, you're going to make thousands of dollars from this Thanksgiving deep cleaning ad. And they were like, how did you learn to do that? Michael, when I started advertising, it was trial and error, just like in the handyman business, right? In the beginning, we thought we could do everything. But then we get into it, we're like, we don't want to do concrete. We don't want to do roofing, right? So it's trial and error. And I've failed about 1 million times on the ads that I've written. And I've gotten several McNuggets that work amazingly well. But you have to fail over and over again. So to overcome that limiting belief, you have to do what Vince Lombardi says. Practice makes perfect. Even though perfection is an enemy of profitability, take that with a grain of salt. But like you have to just do it over and over and over again. And nobody knows your business better than you do, right? Outsourcing your marketing is like outsourcing your life, and that's absolutely no fun, I would think.
Yeah, especially at the beginning, when you're first getting started, you should know how your business is being marketed pretty much across the board, because at the beginning it's basically only you. If you, at least in my experience, once I broke off, I felt like I had a bunch of support, but once I actually quit my 9 to 5 and started really doing it full time, it still took a little bit for, you know, everybody else to kind of start seeing it as well. But it's just repetition, consistency, and you're going to feel like you're repeating yourself a lot, but that's just, you know, that's part of the game. And it is trial and error on the Facebook ads. I couldn't tell you how many times I've spent money on ads to where I didn't get any results, or I got minimal results. But once I found those ads that started bringing in good revenue and having great results, I was able to tweak everything to kind of match that, or just keep doing the same ad over and over again, like Christy does for years. Because if it works, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
I have an ad that's been running since April of 2019 or 2020 that I've never quit running because it has such amazing results. So consistency and trial and error are amazing. That was a great comment, Michael. Thank you very much. So we're going to delve right into today's training, 7 in 7 challenge, where you build a massive following on Facebook to get 7 customers in just 7 days. Now, putting up that Facebook business page last week for my maids, they told me today they already got 3 customers and they hadn't even went through the training. I just helped them put a page up. With the service-based industry, so many people just don't know how to market. They're really good at swinging that hammer, but they have no clue how to market and get more customers and scale their business. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about marketing and what marketing really is, so that you understand that before we build the page with you. Building the page is pretty simple, but the important thing is that mindset and understanding what marketing does. Most business owners, 97% of all business owners, are intimidated by the marketing process. They don't know what to say, who to say. They don't want to annoy people. So what they do is they don't do it, and it's just costing them money. So no, it's not just you. I was intimidated in the beginning. Sometimes I still send ads over to Chip and I go, is this okay? Do you think this is going to stop their scroll? So just know it happens to the best of us. I didn't wake up and just knew how to market handyman businesses, maid businesses, and roofing businesses. You could do it over and over and over again to learn it. So you're not going to have to pay that stupid tax. We're going to take decades, put them into days for you, and not charge you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Number 2, people expect marketing to be free or cost nothing. When you want to scale to $1 million business, you have to pay for marketing. And you also have to know the numbers to make you confident. Remember I told you that we spent $250,000 in 1 year to get $1.25 million in sales. I didn't know what I was doing back then. And I didn't understand what numbers meant. So I was just throwing money to market my business to people that didn't know what the hell they were doing. And they got all my profitability for that year. So I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to give the TV station a salary for a salesperson. I'm not going to give the radio station a salary for a person. So here's some things that you need to know as you're going into marketing, because marketing is going from obscurity to omnipresence with your business. It is having customers and having those customers go out and get you more customers. It's to let people know about your business. Obscurity to omnipresence. Keep that in mind. Number one, you need to know how much it costs to acquire a customer. It costs me about $32.50 to get a customer, but my average sale is about $750 in sales. So is it worth it? But I get a lot of them for free off of my Facebook page. Number two, understand customer attrition. It's customer attrition. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. It's that bucket of customers that you have, and they fall out a little bit at a time. Maybe they can't pay you at the end of the job. Maybe they fire you from the job. Remember, that's not the worst thing that can happen.
Oh,
sometimes, right? Maybe they don't pay the bill when it comes due. So those customers drip out of the bottom of the bucket. Now, if you have less than 100 customers, it's usually a 2% attrition rate, dripping out of the bucket all of the time. There's nothing wrong with you. There's just sometimes some pain in the ass customers that just leave, or they move, or they get a new job and they can't afford you anymore.
Yep.
If you have over 100 customers, the attrition rate is usually 4 to 5%. So it's a little bit higher. This is you scaling your business. It's not you swinging the hammer anymore. It is you have employees or contractors that work for you. So you've got to understand that customer attrition, and you have to advertise past that if you want to grow and scale your business. And number three is forecasting your marketing and your growth. So customer acquisition costs. If you use your Facebook page in the beginning and you're smart about it, doesn't necessarily cost you anything but time. And also you want to build a system that you have repeat customers coming back over and over again. Another thing is divide your money on your advertising. Don't put everything into one bucket. You want to split it up and see what works.
For sure.
And another thing to remember is not all costs are equal. Not all marketing is equal. You can spend that money on TV, radio, and billboards. But remember yesterday, we talked about that conference of 2,500 people. Where did they get the majority of their customers? 85% social media.
Yep.
And Google. What your Google expert is right up there. Mr. Carter. So do you have any questions about customer attrition?
It took me a long time to actually wrap my head around the concept because I always felt like when I was losing a client or customer, that it was a personal blow, to me. And it's not always that. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it is. Not everybody's going to like me. Not everybody's going to have the patience to deal with the type of marketing that I do. It's something I've had to deal with. But once you actually understand that it's just part of business, you'll quit stressing over the little things like losing a client. Because the thing is, if I lose a client, I just bust my hump to get two more, and I know how to do that now. So I don't let it get to me. I just think, okay, well, I've got to correct this and then add some on top for it to be, so my attrition rate goes up, but also my money goes up,
Yeah. So as a handyman business, with that attrition rate, can you, with the attrition and the 2% that fall off, you are going from job to job to job and you're the one swinging the hammer. If you lose one customer, could that destroy your business?
It can, yeah.
It can. Like if you had one customer on the books for the next 2 weeks, they cancel, you're up against Thanksgiving or Christmas. It's going to be hard to replace them, especially if you don't do any marketing and you just go on the word of mouth, which I've heard from so many handyman businesses. If you want to be booked up months in advance, even weeks, let's start with weeks in advance. The best way to do that is marketing on social media. Because when you are thinking about your customer, you need to, so 99.9% of all businesses, they are that selfish business owner where they're thinking about them. And that's when you swing the hammer and you have one customer and you go from customer to customer and you're not really booked up in advance. You're just, praying that the phone rings or you get another customer, their sister, cousin, aunt needs some work done. That is the handyman, not the professional. But to get to the professional point of the handyman business, you have to market. You have to advertise. And the easiest way for a handyman who's busy, especially if he's working in the business, is to do it on social media because you can set it up and it go for you working 24/7. You're putting that hand under that waterfall of Facebook. I stole that from you, Chip.
Yeah. But that's what you need to do. Anytime I see an opportunity to get another handout, whether it's another website, another Facebook page, creating a blog website, I take full advantage because I know the value of having a Facebook page that is seen by a lot of people, that is getting a bunch of attention. I also know the value of having a website on page 1 of Google. So anytime I have an opportunity to get to that point, I'm jumping on it immediately because the more hands you have out, the more money that's coming in.
Yeah. So when you're building your Facebook business page, you need to think about the customer, not about you. What are their needs? What are they going to want from the services that I provide? You need to get in the mindset of not the business owner. You've got to get in the mindset of the customer because most business owners fall in love with their product or service and not with their customer. And you know what? The customer doesn't care about you. They don't care that your car broke down or that your sister has the sniffles or you can't get daycare, whatever it is. They don't care. Don't put that stuff up there because they don't care. What they care about is themselves and the problem that you're going to solve for them. You want to think like the customer, what they're worrying about the night before they meet you.
Yeah, problem solve. What problems are you solving for your clientele?
Yeah, Chip says it best. Entrepreneurs solve problems. But the thing is most entrepreneurs talk about their problems and they don't talk about the problems they're solving for their customers. So that is one thing to remember when you're getting into this marketing is that you want to think like the customer, put yourself in their mindset, not in the business owner mindset, right?
For sure. Every time I look, so Christy's the best at this. If you want to watch posts being done correctly, go to Sometimes Spouse Facebook page and you'll see it. She's always, if you look, it's always a solution post. It's always, this is how we're solving this problem that you have, and call us and we can solve it for you too. That kind of thing. And it's just all pain points. She's just making, for one, she's stopping your scroll, but for two, she's easing the client's mind by letting them know, I understand that this is a problem and this is what the service I provide to fix it. And that's what works. Being able to have not only stop their scroll, but calm the client down enough to where they're like, oh, wow, this is what I need. This is who I need to use. And that's what you got to think. Like Christy said, put yourself in the mind of your clientele and what would make you consider you for a job. What would someone say to catch your eye and also your attention enough to where you wanted to go ahead and give them a call and start using their services. Once you do that, you'll start seeing tenfold, your results will change overnight.
And when you start marketing and you start getting more customers and more money starts coming in, don't give yourself a raise. You want to build and scale your business. Put that money into marketing on social media or Google, which we're going to have a Google class in the future. And Chip's going to mainly teach that one. But in Google, there is 3.8 million searches every freaking minute. So Chip explains it like a waterfall. Put his hand under that money that comes to him. So remember that Google is the phone book of 2021 and 2022. Facebook is the billboard. So when you're marketing, know that people are scrolling on their stinking phones. They're probably sitting on their toilet.
Yep.
Honest here. They're sitting on their toilet. They're scrolling through Facebook. And then they see something that you've got in your business. It has to catch their attention. So it's got to stop them, stop their scroll, and get them to click there instead of scrolling on down to the next Yellowstone feed or whatever it is. So you got to think about that. Do you want the billboard, which is on Facebook, that gets in front of people? Because people are scrolling on the toilet. You know they're there at least 5 or 6 times a day, right? Oh, yeah. So that is a great place to market your business. And that's one of the only places that I really market my business and put money in the advertising. Now, be careful not to spend and throw money out the window on that useless marketing that doesn't work. If you think, oh, this is a great idea, I'm going to try it. I was talking to somebody that owned a CBD store, and she put her ad on the back of an HEB receipt. And I said, really? Has it worked for you? And she goes, I've been doing it for 6 months. I pay him about $300 a month. And she said, I haven't got one customer from it. No. And I said, let me tell you something. Like, I purchased CBD products, and I pay $25 for 10 gummies. I'm not necessarily looking for a discount. I don't look on the back of an HEB receipt. She goes, well, our target market, it's mostly business owners.
Yep.
I wouldn't do that. She's like, I'm in a year-long contract. So
nobody looks at the back of those receipts.
She's giving them money. Here you go, HEB. I already bought my groceries, but now I'm gonna pay for my advertising. It doesn't work. So those are a couple of things. If you're gonna put your ad on the back of a receipt, it better stop their scroll.
Yeah, it better be really good.
Yeah, not just come buy CBD products from me and I'll give you 10% off. 6 months in, useless advertising, she's getting them $1,800. She wonders why she's not profitable.
Yep.
She's spending that money on that useless advertising. Now, don't expect to grow your business and not market.
For sure. Even word of mouth, that's still marketing. If you're out there talking to people, networking, doing all that stuff. I know a lot of people still are stubborn to get online because they're just old school business owners. But if you think of it, word of mouth is just one form. And what do we keep saying and beating into y'all's heads? Don't just get stuck on one platform or one marketing strategy. You need to be expanding to do more. And we've given you so many different marketing strategies to start trying. So if you're adamant that word of mouth is good enough, but you're not making enough money, start considering Facebook, Google. All this stuff is free and it's not going to kill you. It's not going to, you're not trading in your values and morals for business. It's unless you just get on Facebook and start posting all your personal life, what you're eating and all the stuff that nobody really cares about. If you get on there strictly for business, you're not. I was the same way, man. I hated Facebook. I'm still not a big fan. I think it ruins relationships and friendships. It's not, it's not the best, but for business, I stand behind it 100%. And I use it for that only, and that's it.
Yeah. So to increase your presence on Facebook, you have to increase your followers. You have to increase the number of people that come to your page or follow your page. And
Yep.
to do that, you have to be active. You can't put a post up there once a year and expect it to work, right, Chip?
Correct. Correct. You need to consistently keep doing it, and the numbers will grow. Your following will grow, and then you can start paying attention to the other stuff we're teaching, like sharing your posts into groups, boosting your posts, setting up ads that continually run every day on a monthly basis. There's tons of ways to optimize and get the best results out of Facebook. You just have to work it. You just have to, study, look into it, and do the right thing. And that's what we're teaching you guys.
Yeah. And also, when you're on Facebook, you have to remember this is a McNugget, guys. Write this down. How can I stand out in this crowded market? When I started a handyman business in Waco, Texas, 8 years ago, there was 2 other guys that had a handyman business in Waco. Now, because of the fixer-upper effects from Chip and Joanna Gaines, there's over 750 handyman in Waco, Texas. That's insane. That's more that's in Dallas than in Dallas. That's more than in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin, Texas combined.
I believe it.
It is a market that is getting saturated in Waco, Texas. Everybody saw what Sometimes Spouse did there, and they tried to mimic it, or they saw Chip and Joanna Gaines. Let's be honest, they probably watched it.
Yeah.
Houses, right? So
yeah.
The difference between them and our businesses, because Chip has a handyman business in Waco, Texas, and so do I, is that we have differentiated ourselves from everybody else. We
Correct.
have stood out in this crowded market, and I've had to market always. It's not like the old days where 25 years ago, you started a business and that word of mouth just keeps you going. No, you've got to be out there over and over again. To stand out, you have to be repetitive. You've got to be consistent, and you have to put it out there over and over and over again. If you listen to Chip, he said consistency. That means what, Chip?
It means do the same thing over and over again. Don't change it up. You have to be consistent on what you're doing.
And the marketer are going to get it, right, Chip?
Yeah. I mean, it just, like I said earlier, you definitely feel like you're being repetitive, redundant, all the above, but it's a necessity. As long as you're using the correct keywords and phrases, you'll get the correct results. And that's something Christy and I both have had our luck with. She's correct. We each have a handyman business in Waco, and both of our businesses stay busy. And that's because we market it. That's because we market our business the correct way. We have page 1 of Google sewn up. We have these Facebook likes and followers. It's what we're teaching we're not just talking. We do it ourselves on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, monthly basis. We know what keywords we have to repeat. We repeat ourselves consistently, but it has the correct what's the word I was looking for? It has the required results. I don't think that's right, but the results that you wanted. We are getting the results that most handyman companies in Waco want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're hearing consistency, and you say it over and over again. We get sick of hearing ourselves. I mean, I get sick of hearing the same thing over and over and over again, especially when I'm doing videos. But here's the thing. Consistency is key. And even if I'm failing with the marketing I'm doing, it's better than inconsistent marketing.
Yeah.
Consistency is the key. It's kind of like when you're fishing, right? That you throw it out there, you hope you get a bite. You throw it out there, you hope you get a bite. Most of the time, you don't get a bite. But when you do, it's amazing. And when you find that ad that gets the bites, that you reel in, use that ad over and over and over again. As entrepreneurs, there's a squirrel. We're putting out fires all day long, right? And we get distracted. How easy is it to use that same marketing over and over and over again. Some of the marketing that I've used for years because I know my target market, and my target market as it ages, I also age the marketing with them. So focus on creating content and putting it out there over and over and over again. And once you get bites on that line, keep doing it, reeling it, do it over and over and over again, because that's the key.
For sure. And you get the results you want. That's all I was trying to say. You will start bringing in the 7 clients in 7 days. You'll start doing all that when you get over that little belief, you get over that little hump of, well, I don't want to be so repetitive that people just get tired of hearing it. They can get off your business page. If they're tired of hearing it, they can quit watching. They can quit reading the post, because there's more people that need to hear it. You haven't got to everybody, right? Just because you've had great results and you have maybe 10 or 20 clients come in, and now you feel like you're being super repetitive and redundant, so you need to change it. That's not the case. You want to keep it the same. If it's not broken, don't fix it. That applies here, because that one boosted post or that one ad you created from scratch that's bringing in those results, it's going to keep bringing in the results, because that it brought in results because it's correct. You did it right, and you got it. You stopped their scroll, caught their attention, and had them interact with you. And so why change that? So keep it up. You don't have to change it just because you feel like, oh, I've gotten enough out of this one, I need to find another one. No, keep that one up and find another one on top of it. Start finding the number 2 post that brings in results, and then keep it up and add a third, add a fourth. Christy, how many do you think you have going right now? In all, how many posts do you consistently boost, or how many ads do you consistently run?
I consistently run about 5 to 10 ads on every one of my businesses.
Yeah, and those are the same. After you do trial and error till you find the best 5 to 10 ads, and then you just keep them running, right?
And then you more.
Yeah, and you can keep adding onto it, or you can sit back and let it work for you 24/7, because it will. If you're not ready to make that next leap to hire another crew, maybe you just need to sit on this one until you are. But then once you are ready, don't get rid of that one. Just start adding other ones.
Yeah, be specific about the problem that's solving in your Facebook posts and the ads that you run. If you're in the same place as your competition, which most of them are on social media, do something to stand out. Do a freaking live like Chip and I are doing to stand out. Write an ad that shows a deck falling down that you are going to fix. Something like that to stand out, because the majority of handyman businesses, the thousands that we've studied, they put a post up in June, and now it's October and nothing else is done. The things that somebody wants done in their home in June are not the same things they want done in November. There's a season in the handyman business and all contracting businesses that you have to kind of go for. Don't worry about repelling your customers by posting. Worry about not under delivering to your customers on the social media, because they follow you for a reason. The reason that we're doing this is to generate leads for you, so that you don't have to pay Home Advisor, Angie's List, and Thumbtack and all that for leads that go out to your competition. We're getting leads that are only coming to you over and over and over again, and consistency is the key.
For sure. Exclusive leads looking for you and your services. Yeah, those are the ones you want.
Yeah. So there are lots of low-cost ways to advertise your handyman business, from putting up a Google page, putting up your Facebook page, newspaper ads. Chip and I, our podcast just recently did 50 ways to market your business. Go listen to those. But the one we're talking about today is Facebook, and that Facebook business page that we're going to do. So I'm going to share screen so you guys can see how to build a Facebook page. And Chip, will you walk us through this?
Yeah, for sure. I'll walk you through it. And remember this, Facebook, everything that Facebook has put in place, it's there for a reason. So if you start thinking, maybe I don't need to fill this part out, or maybe I can skip this, get that notion out of your head. If it's there, you need to fill it out. If they have it there, it's there for a reason. And you need to be as specific as possible. And also I like to, with Facebook, I use the acronym KISS a lot, KISS, keep it simple, stupid, because nobody really wants the complicated, deep posts that you see all the time that people make that give you a life story. You know, they want it specific and they want it simple and they want to know that you can solve their problem. Okay, so from here, to create a Facebook page, Christy has signed into her personal account, her Christy Ogle account, that it has nothing to do with businesses. You know, it's just her page, correct? And this is where you need to build off of. Don't just create a business profile from scratch. It needs to be a page built out off of your personal page. That doesn't mean that it's going to get all your personal posts. It's just, it's a lot more manageable this way. You don't have to keep getting out and back in. You can just go straight in. So from here, I believe on the left side, there's going to be, yeah. So you choose the pages tab on the left side, and here you're going to see Christy's pages that she runs. You can see all those different pages. You're not going to have that. You're just going to have an optional, unless you have other business pages, but you'll just have the one business page that you're building. So now we're going to put in, what does it say? Page information. So I believe that's the name, correct?
Yes.
That's the name of your business. And then down below it, is that the description, or what is that going to be?
So there is not a handyman in
Okay.
Facebook. So you have to go under home and
Yes.
that's not what you personally do. Maybe you could put carpenter, but I'm going to put home improvement because that's what all mine are under.
Yeah, and there's different categories, and if I'm not mistaken, you can do more than one, right?
Yes.
You want to go look through all of them. You want to get every category that falls under what you do. Now, don't just put categories on there that you can't handle, but anything that relates to what you do specifically, get it on there, because that is kind of what, it's not like you're ranking for page one of Facebook, but this will put you in the, when people search for handyman on Facebook or anything like that, this will, you know, as long as you have all the correct, drew a blank, services, correct? Isn't that what it's, yeah, the correct services on there? Then you'll get in the correct searches. So you want to make sure you have everything on there that you possibly can that relates to your business. And then I believe that's it, right? Don't we go to?
Yeah, so I put home improvement, but if you're a painter, put you like to do house painting, put house painting. If you like carpentry, put carpentry. You could put several different ones, I believe up to 5. If you primarily build decks and patios, you can put decks and patios on there also. Now, the next part is description. And I'm going to do this one with them, Chip, just for a second, because so many people get crazy and they're like, what do I do? Well, keep it simple. Like Chip said, what is it you do? Think like a Mad Lib. So one, it could be, we help, and then you have a blank with blank. We help busy families with blank so they can make memories or spend time with their families or something like that. So they can make memories. That's the blank. So just keep it simple. When you keep it simple and not have 1,000 words that they have to read through, that's something that's great. So we help with blank. We help who? Families, moms, dads with honeydews so they can enjoy their time with their family. It could be, fill it in like Mad Libs. The first one would be the identity of your customer, which we're going to go more into tomorrow. The main keyword focus so they can blank what's the big result that they're going to get, because they want to know what problem you're solving and keep it simple, right? So if you're building decks, it could be we help busy families with building decks so they can make memories outside. Can I steal this? Yes. You can make model after Chip and I make modeled after somebody else that taught me this. Another one is we help. What's your customer, your target market? What's build a deck? What's the big result without having to do all the work yourself?
Yeah. Problem solving, pain points, all that stuff.
About your customer when you're building out this page, right? So I'm building this page, Chip. I don't know what you're going to do with it, but we help busy families with, do you want to do deck building? With honeydews. I love honeydews.
Yeah, there we go.
So they can love where they live.
Yeah.
So when I hit create the page, bam, Facebook's working on it back behind the scenes.
Yep.
And then you want to add a profile picture. What kind of profile picture do you want to add? Do you want to put a picture of one of the decks that you built, or a picture of your logo, or a picture of some happy customers? It's totally up to you. What do you want to put in there? So that's another thing that you want to do. And then the next thing is the cover photo. This is the big one in the background.
Yeah. And I do like putting logos on the one before that. I think it always looks really good to have your logo on that little circle picture right next to the name of your business.
Yeah. And then you just click save. It's super simple, right, Chip?
Yeah. I mean, it's very self-explanatory. That's why I like Facebook on this front.
Yeah, basically you sign up, you add pictures, you choose a button of what you want them to do, and we'll do that here in a minute. You create kind of a username. I don't do the WhatsApp app.
No, just close, hit it. Yeah, hit close. Yeah.
You add your business details, you create a post, and then you invite and share. It's super simple to do. So we've created our page. Now
Yes.
what do we do, Chip?
So, and what I do next from here is I go to settings, which will be on the left. And I go through every single one of these and see which ones I want to edit, see which ones I like, which ones I don't like. I go through all these tabs, but on the very top on general, Christy, click on general on the far left.
Yeah.
Is that general?
Yeah, and it says username.
No, that should be look on the left where it's page settings.
Oh yeah, okay, I see it.
Yeah, go to general. On the very top, you had it, the very top one. Okay, on here, you went back. Okay, on here, go through all of these settings, because these are what's going to your page visibility, whether or not you can share posts from your page, whether or not people can share posts to your page. You need to know what you can and can't do with your page. And this right here is basically the gist of your settings for those. So go through all of those and really read them and make sure that you have it set up the way you want it to be set up. And then you go down then you go to messaging and then to page info, and you start putting in more info on messaging right there. Christy, go ahead and click it. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Well, okay, so here on messaging settings, this is how you're going to set up whether you have automated responses to people. Make no mistake, Facebook shows how quickly you respond to people. You don't want to be the page that says responds within 1 to 2 days. Because people see that. So you want it to, responds immediately or responds within an hour or two. You want to make sure you get inside of those ranges, because people do get turned away when they see that you're not really good at responding to your clients on Facebook, on this platform specifically. And then, so set this up the way you want it, and then go to page info. And I believe there's going to be a lot of info there that we have not put in yet.
Yeah, one thing you really want to do is set up that username, because when people go to tag you, this is how they tag you. So I just at handyman and it let me, what the, oh, somebody else has got it.
Yeah, figured. And it'll, like it just showed Christy, you know, if the username's taken, it won't let you do it. So you're going to have to keep going until you find one that works for you. I like to make sure that sometimes I even like to make it contextual content, like Waco handyman, or, you know, at handyman in Waco or in Central Texas. But it's all got to be, you know, there's no spaces, no capital letters, you know, it's just a tag, you know, so all lowercase. Did you get one?
Yeah, I put at Waco, Texas handyman.
There you go. All right. And then the categories again.
You can change that. If in the future you want to change it, I would personally say have it be whatever your page's name is, if you can possibly do that. But if you can't, think about how people are going to tag you, and they're probably going to try to tag you if you're known as the handyman in that area, at Abilene handyman, or at handyman Abilene, or something like that, to be able to tag you. And that's so important. I got so frustrated when I had franchisees and I was trying to tag them and they'd have like crazy username. No, it should be at sometimes spouse, whatever city they're in, right? Or at handyman sometimes spouse, or something like that. So that's something to remember.
All right. The description is the same. Phone number, you know, that's up to you. I personally am a big fan of buying tracking phone numbers and have them just forwarded to my cell, to where I have business lines. But and I have access for those for pretty cheap. But again, if you want to put your personal number, you can. If you have a business number, use it. Know this though, all of when it comes to search engine optimization on Google and Facebook, definitely can be, your Facebook page can definitely be ranked on Google. We've already talked about this. But when you change your phone number, that ends up making you start all the way over from scratch SEO wise, because it's now in Google on the bot, like the bots for Google and the bots for Facebook, they kind of see it. They see it as a new business or a new citation. So you have to start over SEO wise all the way from the beginning. So try your hardest to keep the same phone number. You know, I understand that might not work out. You might end up having to change it, or you might have a plan, like a goal to not have to use your personal phone for that long. Just know when you change it, you kind of got to start over SEO wise and start hitting, you know, get it all, because you want it consistent on every platform. So if you change it on here, make sure you change it across the board. Google, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you are, make sure you have the same phone number on every single platform.
Yeah, and it asks next about the WhatsApp phone number. The WhatsApp is really for retailers and people that are on e-com that do business worldwide. So if you're not doing business worldwide, ignore the WhatsApp phone number and that stuff, because you don't need it. I've never, ever in 8 years used the WhatsApp phone number for my handyman business.
Yeah. And also it's going to get a little frustrating because Facebook is going to consistently try to get you to do it. But just exit off. You know, I never do it either. So that's two people right here that don't do the WhatsApp phone number. It's not a big deal. You don't have to have it.
The next one is email. I want to caution you when you put your email in there, have a professional email. Don't put super sexy, nice, slow as your Gmail or as your email. You want a professional email, and you can sign up for a professional email. It can be at Gmail. I do recommend Gmail.
Yes.
Instead of something else. If not, what's that suite that we have, Chip, that makes it at?
It used to be called G Suite. It used to be called G Suite on Google. Now it's called Google Workspace. And that's where that you can have it set up to where your domain name is also your email. You just put, like, I have chip@mccarter.marketing, and my website is mccarter.marketing. So, and Christy, y'all have the sometime spouse, y'all have Christy at or Max at. So that's the best way to do it if you can. I think it's $12 to $15 a month per email, like per domain or per user or something like that. But it's worth it to have the professional email. People see that, and real business owners know the difference between a Gmail and an actual .com email or .marketing email. They know the difference. They know who's paying out of pocket to have the professional email, and they know who's working on a free Gmail. I can, I pick that up all the time, but that doesn't mean you have to do it. I have tons of Gmails that I use for my businesses, and I don't pay for the Google Workspace on every one of them. So, that's up to you as well.
Another one, the next one's the website. I do highly recommend, and Chip's #1 marketing is his website. So a professional looking website is so important, right, Chip?
Correct. And so say you don't have a website yet. If you have a Google profile, they will build a free website for you. I say build very loosely, but you're allowed a free website on that platform, on Google My Business platform. So if you create that free website, until you have your own website, put that here. Go find the URL to your free website and put that on Facebook and connect it until you get a legitimate website. But you can go to Google My Business. If you have a profile or you build one, there's a free website that comes along with it. Nothing special. You're not going to be able to make it look like you want it to look, but just think of it as another hand in that waterfall. It's just another page on Google that connects people to you. So, but if you do that free website, go ahead and put it up on here. You want to have all these blanks filled out. You don't want to, be missing a website or something like that. So work on that. You need to get a website anyways, but if you don't, that's one way around that.
What about the location, Chip, which is the next question? Do I put my house address in there?
No, well, you can. So I wouldn't do it though. What I would recommend, and let me see so you can either do my page doesn't have a location, or just put the city. Or, I would use city. I wouldn't use zip codes, because there's a lot of zip codes in different cities. So, I would definitely go put like Waco, Texas, or Dallas, Texas, or whatever, what your service areas are. And that's what Christy's doing now. On the service areas, I believe you can have up to 8 or 9. It might be 10, but I know that there is a limit on the service areas.
You want to put all those little suburbs that are around you,
Yes.
and kind of saturate the area that you're in. This is that contextual content marketing built into your Facebook page, that you can say, hey, I'm here in Waco. There's probably 20 little towns around it. I want to go where the money is. I don't want to necessarily go where they're struggling, right? There's those pockets. There's those pockets. So I want to go in those places where people can afford my services. The next one is hours. It's up to you.
It is up to you. I will say this. I don't like putting no hours available. I think that's lazy. I've kind of said this a few times already, but you got to fill everything out. It's there for a reason. It's not there. And, clicking always open, I'd rather you do that than no hours available. But now, open on selected hours. If you're not going to answer messages past a certain time, if you're not going to get back to people at certain times, you need to go ahead and fill every day out on what your hours are. If you don't want to get phone calls and messages after hours, don't click always open, because that people see that and they assume you're always open. And then when they call and you don't answer, you weren't reachable. And we talked about that in our podcast. If you're not reachable, they're going to the next, on to the next one.
And you can go in there, and if you're closed over Thanksgiving or you were closed for Veterans Day, you
Yeah.
can put that in the temporary service change hours.
Yeah, and I would still click operating as usual. Like right now, Christy, you see, yeah, just to have it, because they have it there. So you need to click one of them. If you have a privacy policy on your website, put that link right here on the privacy policy. And on the addition, so here you can throw in some keyword stuff on additional information. You could put like something along the lines of handyman Waco has been servicing the Central Texas area for over this amount of years. And then kind of hit some contextual content marketing. We bleed green and gold, sick 'em bears, something like that for the Baylor Bears in Waco. To where people see your loyalty to your city. And, a lot of people have that. A lot of people have pride in where they live. So you can kind of poke at that and get their attention that way. The price range is, again, this is up to you. I always click moderate, kind of like she just did. But again, it depends on your target market and what you're going after. If you're going after the high end, be specific. Put, what is it? Splurge on there. Click expensive or splurge and show people that you're only dealing with people that have the money. This is where you can, if you put cheap on there, you're going to get the clients that want the deal, that want you to cut them something, that care about what you do on their $95 service charge more than the people paying you 15 grand for a new deck. And I swear you get more trouble out of the $150 jobs than you do the $15,000 jobs. So this is something you have to know. You know your business better than we do. That's what Christy said earlier. So be sure and know your business enough to fill this out. What price range do you want people? What price range do you want to set? Don't sell yourself short either. And yeah.
You can link your Instagram, your Pinterest, your Twitter, your Snapchat, your YouTube.
Yep, and you should.
TikTok, all of those things to your Facebook page. So that means you do it once and it goes to the other platforms. So that is a good thing to do also.
Definitely connect it to Insta because Facebook owns Insta. Mm-hmm. I never post on Instagram, but I am very active on there. Because I post on my Facebook a lot. So, by connecting them, you kind of knock out two birds with one stone,
So we've kind of created the page. We've just done a little bit here. But so one, you have to sign up. Two, you've got to add some pictures. If you've done work, and I assume you have, you want to add just tons of pictures. So yeah. Flip over to my page. I'm going to go in under pictures and show you guys how many different photos that we actually have over the last 6 or 7 years.
I don't think it clicked.
It's so important. Did it not swap?
No, it didn't. You didn't click it. Go back to photos. Go to more. Where's this? Okay, go over to the right. To more. Keep losing the cursor. Okay, and then photos. Click it. Yeah, here we go.
I've got probably 10,000 pictures over the last 8 years.
Yeah, well, look, these are all albums. So timeline photos, just shy of 4,000 of them. Mobile uploads, 1,200. Instagram photos, 340. Profile pictures, 25. And that's about right. You don't want to keep the same profile all the time. I like to say once a year, but maybe twice a year. Just depends on you. Cover photo 11. And you can create the albums yourself too. You can go in there and name them. If people are coming onto your site searching for specific keywords, make an album under that keyword and it'll take them to it. uh, you know, uh, remodeling old homes or something like that. And then you have before and after pictures of a bunch of remodeling jobs you did. And now when people go to Google and they search I need someone to remodel my home, you have a good chance of your pictures in that album being ranked in that search when they look for it.
So, I mean, that is something simply to do. If you've done a bunch of decks, put a bunch of decks in the photos. You can also do it on Instagram too. If you've done a bunch of carports, put a bunch of carports under one album so they can go in there. And you can also tell your customers, just go to my Facebook page, click on photos. And maybe you've done remodeling projects. Maybe you've done landscaping. You can have a different album for each and every one of those. So that's so important, is to show pictures of your work. Number 3, choose a button. As you can see with my ads, I've got buttons on them.
And that's on each post. Each post you put on, it's going to give you the option to put a button on it. Always choose a button. It's everything from get more likes, or like my page, to call me, right? You know, you can have a click to call button, an email button. They have a bunch of different options. And so it depends on what you're going after.
Yes.
That's why Facebook is so awesome when it comes to this. It gets very specific to where people can find you looking for your specific services. All these posts and the pictures that when you make a post with a photo on it, that photo is going to be saved to your photo albums as well. So, you know, you don't necessarily want to go put all your pictures on and then all of a sudden you have no pictures to use for your posts. You know, if you have a couple that go exclusively well with your deck building and you have a good picture for that, make a post out of it, you know, and make it a problem solving post. Put the photos on there, and now you have, you know, content connected to the picture.
Yeah. Also remember to create a username,
Yes.
add business details, create a post. So get a picture of some work that you've done, or make a meme like this, and then invite people to your page and also share your page. A lot of people don't do this because they don't want to annoy their friends and family. You want to go in there and you want to invite your friends and family. I'm changing over to my personal because I have a lot of people on my personal and I want to invite them. I just hit invite friends.
Yeah.
Super simple. And I can check them all if I want.
Now, well, so sometimes it only lets you do a certain amount per day.
Yeah.
You have to catch it. Is there an option to select all, Christy?
I don't have that because mine is 1,000 people. So,
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, but also you can click up to 50 people a day to invite via Messenger, because if they get that link via Messenger, they're more likely to think you're personally inviting them. So you just send them the invites, super simple to do. And then also share your page. You can share it on your personal page. You can share it to other pages you have. You can share it to a group. You can send it to people on Messenger. I don't recommend that. But you can also share it on a friend's profile. I do that to Chip all the time. You're welcome.
Yeah, for sure. No, and so every post I do automatically is going to get shared to 2 different places automatically. I'm going to share it to my personal page, my news feed, and then I'm going to go share it to every group that it applies to. And I think you can share it up to 20 groups. And I'm being repetitive here as well, but sharing your post into these groups is the equivalent of paying them to boost a post, because you're getting your post in front of other people's feeds, other than the people that are already following you or liking your page. So this expands your reach. This is going to expand your reach for free on Facebook, sharing to different groups, because I have a whole different list of people on my personal page than I do my business pages. And then in the groups, I have tons and tons of people that I'm not even friends with. So, and that's your goal, is to get in front of the people that are not already seeing what you do.
So to share it, I'm going to just give you an example. If I wanted to share this in a group, I just go in there, I take the post. I didn't have a call to action on that one post. So I could just go in there, share it with that group, and it goes to thousands of people that I don't necessarily interact with on my Facebook page. So it's a super simple way to do it. So make sure and join groups as your page, and as well as personally, and like other pages and build other people up, and they will build you up.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a whole nother training, but optimizing these Facebook groups can do wonders for your business, just in 1 day, 2 days. But adding value to these groups kind of sets you apart as the expert in your niche. And the minute people see that and understand that, that's when people are going to start coming and asking you the right questions, and you can start, really nailing it down and getting a huge following on Facebook.
Yeah.
But add value.
We're going to talk more about groups on Facebook in a few days. I had a question about that. What groups are you referring to? For sale pages, we're going to have a whole list and do a training on it one day, so you can understand it a little bit more than us quickly going over it. But now you have the foundation to start building your page, and you probably already got a Facebook page, but you need to work on it. When I was looking at my Facebook page, I'm like, well, I probably should tweak a couple of those things, because it's been a minute since I've tweaked a couple of those settings. Things have changed. The Facebook algorithm has changed. So those were 7 easy steps to build your page or make your page better, because if you've got 2 people and you don't have a logo or pictures or anything like that, you need to put it up. But you have to be active, and you have to add value. You don't just sell on your page, and we'll talk more about that in the future. But you have to understand marketing, understand the Facebook page. So that's the meat and potatoes of it. And now we're going to go into scaling it tomorrow with talking about your niche market and how to go after your niche market on Facebook.
And also, I know the question was which groups we're talking about, but ultimately, there's tons of buy, sell, trade groups that Christy is talking about. And also there's support local groups. I own one that I run, Keep Your Business Local Central Texas. And that is an amazing platform now with just a couple thousand, but they're active and they're actually using it. That's another thing. When you join a group, go look and see how active people are in it. Is everybody just sharing their post and then getting off the page? Or are they actually commenting, reading, liking, following? Is it an interactive group, or is it just a group with selfish business owners that feed their post over there and forget about it? So you have to kind of vet through those, but those are the groups we're talking about. And like Christy said, we'll probably have a whole day where we talk about this, because optimizing these Facebook groups is an amazing way to get business, like right then and there, if you do it correctly.
Yes. So when you build up your Facebook page, that's part of your homework for today. I'm going to send out the sheets within the hour, so you'll know how to build your Facebook page and understand marketing a little bit more. But build your Facebook page so that we can start utilizing it to get that massive following in the 7 in 7 challenge. I'm Christy Ogle.
I'm Chip McCarter.
And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Thanks for coming, guys.